Good morning, grade 5. It's Mr. B here. I'm bringing you a math lesson from my office at home in lovely Muskoka. We're surviving all this pandemic and everything, and seeing how that all goes. I hope everyone's doing well and has had a great March break. But we have a little math lesson. So, without further ado, we're going to move on, and hopefully we'll make this brief. So, anyways, to start off, we're going to have a brain warm-up. Now, it's going to be a bit weird because it's on camera, but we're going to try it anyways, and I'm going to give you a little bit of time to look at each problem. So, we're going to start off by trying to find x, and we're going to do this by comparing the equations, comparing both sides of the equation. So we'll start off with this one. 79 minus 53 equals x minus 53. So with any equation, we know that both sides have to be equaling the same ultimately. That if you added them all up or subtracted them, they'd equal the same thing. So that makes an equation true. If it doesn't do that, then it's false. So we're trying to make sure that this equation is true, and we're trying to find out x. So we're trying to find out x right there. So first thing you want to look at, what we're doing here is comparing them. So what do you see on both sides that are the same? Give you a second to think of this. Okay, it's the 53. You can see on both sides we have a 53 right there, and right here as well. Whoops. Okay, so we see about minus 53 on both sides. Oh, there we go. Perfect. So if both sides are minusing 53, that means from the total on both sides is subtracted 53. That means if we get rid of this 53 on both sides, it doesn't do anything to it. And so that's a way we can find out quickly that what x equals, because those don't matter. And then we have x, because those will cancel out because they're both the same on each side. And then we're left with x. Now, we can do this in another way. We can quickly check out a second one, which would be, I'll try and fit this in here, and I'll give you a little bit more time to figure this one out. Plus 5 equals 5 plus x. Okay, so we don't have much room there, but you can kind of see that. So I'll give you a few seconds to see what's the same and what you do and what will happen here. So just wait a moment. Take a look at that. Think hard, really hard. Don't bust any brain cells. Okay, we're good. Perfect. So look, you see the 5s here. So that's also kind of like a positive 5. There's 5 of something, and here you'd be adding 5 of something. So these are, again, they can cross each other out because you see they're the same. And you'll be left with 4, 8, 9 equals x. Voila! Okay, one more just for good measure. 62 minus 43 equals 62 minus x. Oh, that's a terrible x. Okay, so again here. Now that we've done it a few times, I think you guys will start getting the drill. We have two of the same number. We're going to cross them out probably. I'll give you 1 second to think of this. Okay, there you go. So we got these 62s, cross them out, and then we're left with minus 43 equals minus x. But really what this means is we can just squabble out this x, because x really equals 43. We're just subtracting whatever that 43 from the general equation. So perfect. That is just a little warm-up to get us all ready for today's math. So today we're actually dealing with organizing data. And so the idea here is that we're going to take like a word problem that's big and long, it has blah 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 blah, it talks a lot, and we're just going to try and get the most important details from it. So details like how many minutes, or like actual numbers we can work with, because math, it's all about the numbers, trying to figure out what's important here. And so today we have a kind of a problem, so I'll show it to you. So I don't want to write it all out here because it's too big, so I just want to write the most important information down. So if I have a story, or a situation, it's like Armin spent 25 minutes doing his math homework. He spent 15 minutes more on his science project than on his math homework. How much time did Armin spend on his science project? So, what do we know first? First thing we want to find out is the question here is how much time did Armin spend on his science project? So we're looking for x. X is kind of the how, and that is x is equal to how much time, or x is equal to the minutes spent, spent on sci project. Oh, that is just all over the place with capitals all over, but we're going to continue anyways. And then we have two other datas. We have the 25 minutes that he spent on math. It's like awkward walking past this. And then we know that there was 15 more minutes spent on science than on math. Oh, doing it again. Okay. Anyways, perfect. So when we have this, is this easier to convert into an equation than the big long word answer or the word problem? And it is much easier, and I can show you how. If we just look here, you can almost see an equation made already. What we just have to do is take these numbers and order them. Basically, we're looking for the minutes spent on the math problem. We just go 25 plus 15 equals x, and there you have an equation. So, and this is just to figure it out. So we know the minutes missing was, or the amount of minutes spent on the project was what we were looking for initially, and we knew that there was 25 minutes that was spent on math homework, 15 minutes spent on the science or 15 minutes more than the math homework was spent on the science project. So we just know that it was the amount of minutes on the math plus an extra 15 minutes will give us how much time this guy spent on the science project. And this just equals 40 equals x, and there you have it. So that one is all good. So in your projects today, you'll see, or your workbooks, which you'll be working on pages 11 and 12, I believe, or nope, actually 12 and 13. So 12 and 13. So there's some other things you have to pay attention for in those ones. They have this, the main focus is on the word problems, and you'll see that come up again and again. There's almost 2 pages of word problems. And so what you're looking for is they're going to ask for you to write an equation to solve the problem. Now, and sometimes there's like different questions, but the main idea is you want to take the most important data out of that. So if it says Cam has 12 blue marbles and he has 7 more red marbles and blue marbles, it's quite a similar thing to this. You'd say, instead of here, you'd say, instead of math, you'd just put a 12, and then here you'd put a 9, and the x would still be what you're looking for. But we're not going to do that for you. You have to figure that out on your own. But that's the idea. The other part that we need to learn about is this idea of a difference and a total. Now, when we're talking about a difference, the best way I can show this to you is having a few circles here. So, or the difference between difference and total. That's how we'll do this. So if I have this many circles, so just for the sake of everything, we have 7 and 3. Let's make that stem a little longer so you can see it on the video. So if I ask you for the difference here, what am I asking you for? Now, I know it's hard when you guys can't speak back, but the idea is that we're trying to find out the difference between these numbers. And so what you have to do is you subtract the smaller number, or you subtract the bigger number by the smaller number. So you take the 7 minus 3, and then you get the difference, and that would be 4. And then the total would be adding them together to put them together. So that would be 7 plus 3 equals 10. Now, in your book, it'll show, you'll see this, and this could be a little bit confusing because you see how it says total and difference, and at the top it crosses one of them out. Now, that's because not every question is asking for both. Some of them are asking for a total, and some of them are asking for the difference. So in the first question, if you want to look at it, I guess I can bring it here so you can see, but you also have you should have your books with you. It says Ethan has 2 dogs and 5 fish. How many pets does he have? So we see, and I'll get to the parts of it. So dogs are pets and fish are pets, and so he's asking how many does he have? And so what we have to do is add up them to find the total. So the x is the total, is what we're looking for. Now, so in this case, right? In this case, it's the x is here. So we can add the 5, or the 2 and the 5, and we get the 7. And that's the x. Now, here, we would also have the same kind of thing. We'd have 9 kilometers and 12 kilometers, and we'd be looking for total because it says Sharon hiked 9 kilometers on Saturday, and she hiked 12 kilometers on Sunday. How far did Sharon hike in the 2 days? So it's asking you to add those 2 days together, and so that's looking for a total. Now, this one is a bit different, and it's looking for, well, actually it gives you the difference, so that's interesting. So this one actually, you get in the different parts, you have a January and February part, and it gives you the amount he saved in January, which is $36, which you'd write in here. It doesn't give you the amount that he saved in February. Instead, it gives you the difference. So it tells you that he saved less than he saved in January, so $17 less. So if you're trying to find the answer here and the solution, what you do, and I can show you this one for your own help here. So what you do is you're finding the difference. So if you know that it's 36 is the amount of money he saved, $36 is what he saved in January, and you know that it's less than it's $17 less in February, you can find x. And so the x is the difference in this case, right? And so oh no, actually the x is the amount he saved. Yeah, sorry, it's not the difference. This is the difference. 17 is the difference. The x would be how much he actually saved in February. And so you can quickly do the math there, and it would be $19, I believe. 26, 19, $19, perfect, equals x. So that's that. And then if you have any other questions, just ask your parents to send me a message. And so just remember, you have to work on pages 12 and 13. And I think that'll be all. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and have lots of fun. Bye-bye then.